Hey everyone, Swampfox here to talk about Druid changes come Legion, patch 7.0.3 pre-patch. Druids, I'm gonna say, are one of the more overhauled classes come Legion. They completely got rid Bear tank under Feral. It's now its own spec called Guardian. Also, the level 45 talent is affinity based, so that you can kind of like off spec. So say you're a Bear Druid and want to be able to increase the range of your spells, you would choose the Balance Affinity. Here's all the affinities. Balance Affinity, Astral Influence, increases the range of all spells, abilities, and auto attacks by 5 yards. Feral Affinity, Feline Swiftness, increases movement speed by 15%. Guardian Affinity, Thick Hide, reduces all damage taken by 10%. Restoration Affinity, Isara's Gift, constantly heals the Druid or allies when the Druid is at full health. As you can see, you can kind of off-spec. You do not get access to the affinity if you are already in that spec. So if you are balanced, you can't have the balance affinity because you are already balanced. All right, on to the restoration spec. From what I can tell, I don't see a tree form, at least as part of the spells when you go into restoration. It might be a talent. We'll take a look at that in a second. For the most part, restoration is the same. You still have Rejuve, Healing Touch, Regrowth, Life Bloom, and Wild Growth, and Tranquility. No new main spells that you'll be casting, but some notable ones are, they have a Mass Res, Revitalize. Return all dead party members to life with 35% maximum health and mana. Not castable in combat. Darn. Swift Mend. I believe Resto Druids have had Swift Mend before, but little. Instantly heals a friendly target for 6,000 health. It's an instant cast, so that's nice. Forgive me if I'm pronouncing this wrong. Efflorescence grows a healing blossom at the target location, restoring X amount of health to 3 injured allies within 10 yards every 1.9 seconds for 3 seconds. Limit 1. So a nice little AoE heal. And finally, they brought back Innervate. Yes! But it's a little bit different. Infuse a friendly healer with energy, allowing them to cast spells without spending mana for 10 seconds. So it doesn't restore mana, it just makes it so that you don't have to spend mana, which I kind of like. It's nice for those like big healers such as Holy Paladins and Holy Priests. All right, let's talk about the Resto talents. Well, one thing I forgot to mention, the mastery for Resto is Harmony. Your healing is increased by 9% for each of your restoration heal over time effects on a target. That is really nice if you're the tank. So use that in conjunction with Wild Growth, Regrowth, Rejuve. Lovely. Speaking of which, it would work well with this talent, Germination. Passive, you can apply Rejuvenation twice to the same target. There's also Cenarian Ward, which I kind of like. It's the Earth Shield equivalent, I guess, for Resto Druid. Protects a friendly target for 30 seconds. Any damage taken will consume the ward and heal the target for 8,000 over 8 seconds. So that's just another hot. The Druids are going to literally just be hots, besides Swiftmen, which is uncool. Also, to elaborate a little bit more on the affinities, Balance Affinity literally makes you learn Moonkin form, Star Surge, and Lunar Strike, so it is essentially an off-spec that you're choosing. Feral Affinity also lets you learn Shred, Rake, Rip, Ferocious Bite, and Swipe, and increases your energy regeneration by 35%. And Guardian Affinity reduces all damage taken by 10%, and you also learn Mangle, Thrash, Iron Fur, and Frenzied Regen. So it seems that the level 45 talent, you will pretty much be able to choose like a soft off-spec. And I'm sure Resto, you'd be able to learn a few of the restoration abilities. And you would receive Ysara's Gift. Constantly heals the Druid for 3% and allies when the Druid is at full. All right, let's go to the new spec Guardian. Bears everywhere. They re-spec'd bears to stop being so dodgy because bears aren't dodgy. So now they have like a bunch of damage mitigation and higher regeneration and healing received. Let's go over some of the skills. They still have Mangle, melee attack with short cooldown that generates rage. Swipe, that's pretty much what that's your standard AoE ability. Iron Fur is kind of new, but brought back. They used to have this. Increases armor by 75% for 6 seconds. Multiple uses of this ability may overlap, so you're going to be able to stack that. Frenzied Regen is pretty awesome. Ability that spends rage to heal you for a portion of all damage you'll receive you've recently taken. Thrash melee attack that hits all nearby enemies, dealing initial damage, stacking damage over time. And Barkskin. Everyone loves Barkskin. Ability that reduces all damage taken for a short duration. The new mastery for Feral Druids, or Feral. Yeah, look at, so used to calling them Feral. The Guardian. New mastery for Guardian Druids is Nature's Guardian. Increases your maximum health and healing received by 15% and also increases your attack power by 15%. Other notable spells and abilities are a Mark of Ursal, reduces magic damage by 30% for 6 seconds. Incapacitating Roar, it's invokes the spirit of Ursal to let loose a deafening roar, incapacitating all enemies within 10 yards for 3 seconds. Damage will cancel the effect, usable in all shapeshift forms. And Survival Instincts is another mitigation skill. Reduces all damage you take by 50% for 6 seconds and has 2 charges on it, which is, I believe, up from 1. Alright, let's go over the Guardian's talents. There's a couple notable ones here that I like. The level 15 talent, Brambles. Sharp Brambles protect you, absorbing and reflecting up to 99 damage from each attack. While Barkskin is active, the Brambles also deal 99 nature damage to all nearby enemies every 1 second. Now, this is a passive, but that is a lot of damage being reflected and absorbed by doing nothing. So I think that would be a worthwhile one to get. One or two of the others that I liked was Lunar Beams. Summon a beam of lunar light at your location, dealing 3k arcane damage and healing you for 10k over 8 seconds. It'd be weird seeing a bear casting beams of light. Speaking of which, Galactic Guardian is a passive. Your damage has a 10% chance to trigger a free automatic moonfire on that target. When this occurs, the next moonfire you cast generates 15 rage. That'll be neat to see. Alright, on to Feral Kitty Cats. They're still, damage dealers and focus primarily on bleeds. Shred the target, causing 900 physical damage to the target. Deals 20% increased damage against bleeding targets. Shouldn't be too hard because there's like 4 of them. While Stealth, Shred deals 50% increased damage and has a double chance to critically strike. Then there's Rake. Rake the target for, X amount of bleed damage and an additional X amount of bleed damage over the next 15 seconds. Reduces the target's move speed by 50% for 12 seconds. While Stealth, Rake will also stun the target for 4 seconds. Careful, kitty cats. And deal 100% increased damage. Rip is a finishing move for Feral. Bleed damage over 24 seconds, and each point increases that damage. Looks like it doubles. Then there's Ferocious Bite, which is another combo finisher that does X amount of damage based on what their health is at. When used on targets below 25% health, Ferocious Bite will also refresh the duration of your rip on the target. Ooh. Thrash, melee attack that hits all nearby enemies, dealing initial damage and damage over time. And Swipe, melee attack that hits all nearby enemies, generating 1 combo point. So that's 2 AoE abilities there. Also, their mastery, Razor Claws, increases the damage dealt by your cat form bleed abilities by 30%. So you're going to stack that mastery for more bleed damage. There's also a bunch of other passives that they have, but there's like a page of them, so that would take like 10 minutes for me to read. So check that out if you have time. All right, let's go on to Feral Kitty Cat. Blood Scent is a level 15 talent. Your melee abilities in cat form have a 10% increased critical strike chance on targets with bleed effects. So that's pretty much always, if you're doing it right. And Lunar Inspiration. Moonfire is now usable while in cat form. Generates 1 combo point. Deals damage based on the attack power and costs 30 energy. So pretty much converts Moonfire into a cat form ability. There's also Jagged Wounds, which I like. Your Rip, Rake, and Thrash abilities deal the same damage as normal, but in 33% less time. So that's that much more damage in that much less time. It's going to be a toss-up. There's one more. Alun's Guidance. Immediately gain 5 combo points and an additional 1 combo point every 1 second for 5 seconds. That is going to create so much burst damage. So that's going to be a tough choice between Blood Scent and Lunar Inspiration and Jagged Wounds and Alun's Guidance to me. Alright, on to Boomkins, or Balanced Druids, whichever you prefer. I prefer Boomkins. These guys, they do not have that stupid Eclipse thing anymore. It's now just flat Astral Power. Overall, their skills, though, haven't really changed so much. It's been mainly their resource in which uses those skills. Solar Wrath, ranged attack that generates astral power. Lunar Strike, ranged attack that generates astral power, dealing damage to the primary target and lesser damage to other nearby enemies. So it's a little bit more AoE. They added that. Star Surge, strong range attack that spends astral power and increases the damage done by Lunar Strike and Solar Wrath. Fire is still Moonfire. Sunfire is still Sunfire, except that it hits nearby enemies now. And Starfall is still Starfall. Ranged attack that consumes astral power and deals damage over time to all nearby enemies in a target area. The Mastery for Balanced Druids is probably what you'd guess. Increases Starfall and Star Surge damage and the effects of Lunar Solar and Stellar Empowerments by an additional 26%. Other notable skills are Innervate. They can also use Innervate to help out a healer in need. You're going to probably want to make friends with your Boomkin if you heal. And Celestial Alignment. Celestial bodies align, increasing the damage of all your spells by 30% and increasing the astral power generated by Lunar Strike and Solar Wrath by 50% and lasts 15 seconds. So that's be pretty much your cooldown. Other than that, Boomkins really haven't changed all that much. Alright guys, let's move on to talents. Looks like there's some neat talents to play with here for Balanced Druid. Force of Nature, summon a stand of 3 treants for 10 seconds, which immediately taunt and attack enemies in a targeted area. What Boomy doesn't pick trees? Shame on you for not choosing that. But the other level 15 talent, Star-Lord, is a notable mention just because its name is Star-Lord. Shooting Stars, the level 90 talent, I'm a little bit fond of. Moonfire and Sunfire damage over time has a 10% chance to call down a falling star, dealing X astral damage and generating 5 astral power. And last one but not least that I liked most was Fury of a Loon. Calls down calls down a beam of pure celestial energy at target location, dealing 2,700 astral damage every 1 second until your astral power is exhausted. While Fury of a Loon is active, you may recast it for no cost to direct the beam to move to a new location. So this, to me, sounds like the Hammer of Dawn in Gears of War. So I look forward to being able to call Hellfire upon my enemies. Well, Heaven Fire? Celestial Fire? Who knows? Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like, comment, and subscribe. I'll have more Legion videos as the expansion comes on. Stay tuned.